fees on trucks, stairs, elevators, long carry, and last-minute booking, and no trip or fuel charges. Also, no upcharge on weekends, and they do offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2. Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Life changes, and sometimes that means changing where you call home. Whether you're downsizing, growing a family, relocating, or facing tough times, you shouldn't navigate it alone. I'm Laura Bonta-Bush with Woods Rose Realty, and I'm here to guide you with all your real estate needs. As wife of football coach Bill Bush, I understand the importance of teamwork and making sure you are supported every step of the way with honesty, integrity, and compassion. If you're looking for a game plan to buy or sell your home, text or call me at 402-525-0843. That's 402-525-0843.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Hopefully you and I agree that you should do everything you can to save your marriage. Divorce is hard, expensive, and its outcome is usually not all you hope for. However, when doing everything has failed, when divorce remains as your last option, consider Cordell & Cordell as your first choice to help you through the divorce process to a better place on the other side. We've been a partner men can count on for more than 30 years. Let us be that partner for you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 402-858-3220. That's 402-858-3220. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln. 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
MHC isn't new, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can also handle your commercial moves as well. There's never fees on trucks, stairs, elevators, long carry, and last-minute booking, and no trip or fuel charges. Also, no upcharge on weekends, and they do offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Harrison runs on the ones and the twos. No longer got Tristan, got Rudy joining me to my left. You guys can join in 402-464-5685, Facebook, YouTube, XL, channel 961. All great ways to put a face to the voice. And again, Royals taking over on the brick and mortar. Currently, bottom of the second inning, Royals up 1-0 over the Atlanta Braves. And we'll keep you plugged in with details of that game as long as they're still on the brick and mortar. We'll give you updates on the app. That being said, Rudy, how's it going on a really just another brutal hot day here in Lincoln? Day 2 of the brutal heat.
Yeah, I just got back from Texas yesterday, so I feel like I kind of brought the heat with me too. It's something I kind of used to, but it's definitely something I'm never going to enjoy as far as heat goes. So getting through it, I heard it's supposed to get better as the week goes on, so I'm looking forward to that. Maybe going golfing too, but
yeah,
as of right now, I hate this. So
is it worse than Texas then, or is it?
I think it's different. I think whenever it gets really hot here, it's real humid at times.
Yeah,
and in Texas, it's kind of just the sun's just beating you down. Not really too humid here. That's kind of that's my biggest gripe. It's way too humid here at times, and it gets bad.
I think that's everyone's biggest gripe. I don't think anybody appreciates walking into. I mean, it just feels like you're walking into a sheet of water.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you got back at the absolute worst time. I think yesterday and today were probably the two most miserable days in terms of heat and humidity. But you know what it's great for, Rudy? 2 days in fall camp. I feel bad for all the football players that are starting up right now. 30 days out, just a brutal time to start, but you can't ask for a better time to get in shape in this type of heat. Did you play football at all growing up?
I did up until 7th grade, and then I got like some just random concussions along the way. So that my doctor was like, either you keep playing football, risk it, or just stick to baseball. And I was like, you know what? I'll stick to baseball. So it kind of got cut short, but I always loved football. It always came a little easier to me, so that was always fun. But
what year was that where the concussions were coming into?
That was all 7th grade still.
Okay.
So, but I had gotten one from baseball at the time, and that's when he was like, "All right, like the baseball one's probably not going to happen again, but the football one might. So let's just pick and choose here." And I was like, "All right."
That's brutal. Yeah, I don't know what. Sometimes with those things, it's like you can get hit. Again, like guy like Anthony Lionheart Smith, who he can fight for 58 fights and he never had one of those hits. He's been knocked out and stuff for sure, but he never had one of those hits that really, really rattled him to the point. And then you'll see guys like Tua who, they've been hit, many times, but just like the small fall on like the turf or on the grass. Miami's real grass, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So even real grass out there and like just lights out, hands start seizing up. So that's crazy. You and Tristan both had that same thing with the CTE going on. Was it pretty bad, or was it like your doctor was like, this just can't be bad if we keep going this way?
I think he was more worried about the fact that it happened. It was my second one in the span of like, I want to say probably like less than a year for sure. I want to say maybe like 6 to 8 months. So that's what worried him. He was like your brain's already taken enough beating the last half a year or whatever. So that was kind of the biggest deal about it. But it was weird. It happened like just in a drill. It wasn't even in the game. It was like, I think we were doing like some Oklahoma drills. Obviously that's dangerous. I get that. But like it wasn't a head-to-head contact. I think it was like a neck thing that probably caused it. But it was really random. And then like from one day to the next, it was just completely, my head was just gone. It was bad.
That's tough.
But, yeah.
Oklahoma drill will do that too.
Yeah.
Luckily, I can't remember anything bad coming out through the Oklahoma drill, but
it was fun though. I like that drill.
I can understand the older I get, like my moms are like, I really don't want you to play football because I talk to you and then I talk to Tristan and then I can talk to a million other people that I knew growing up playing football. And then they all have a few stories like that. And again, it goes back to most of the time, you're probably fine. Are there some long-term effects? Yeah. It's just like the few guys that, were like, just didn't go fine. And then absolutely terrible. But nonetheless, we're not going to talk about that. I was just curious a little bit about your background before we fully dive into Husker football. 2-a-days, 30. They got like 30 days for fall camp. I keep calling it 2 days, just with fall camp. What to you is probably the most important thing for Matt Rule and company to drill into this football team?
Yeah, I think he kind of touched on it from his presser yesterday, or yeah, I believe it was yesterday, and how his importance is like the games are going to get won and lost on the defense. On the line on both sides, I think is what he was emphasizing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's something that's super cool because it's like the way he explained it, it was like, okay, like I can see how it's more than just, oh, your quarterback's throwing the ball. Your right tackle lets someone in. Yeah, he's not going to be able to do anything. And so I think that being a focus for them this year is going into the season is probably going to help a lot more than people realize. So I'm excited to see how that line on both sides of it looks, especially with some of the key pieces they're probably going to have to, or not probably, that they're going to have to replace on the defensive line. I'm excited to see how that works out.
Surprised at all to hear them. And again, I don't think this is the official depth chart, just maybe some things they're working on through practice. I did see a few people out there that were at the practice mentioning no Pritchard, and instead they were seeing Gunner out there at that spot instead.
Okay.
So maybe Pritchard could just be conditioning.
Yeah.
Are you expecting any, and it doesn't have to be that exact example, you expecting anything interesting in terms of maybe some guys, other than offensive line or defensive line, some interesting faces that we maybe aren't talking about right now, but maybe later?
Yeah, I think he's kind of get talked about a little bit, but I can't think of his name. It's the one that they're transitioning to center for this season. I can't think of his name.
Jenkins?
I believe so. What's his
Justin
first
Evan
name?
Jenkins?
Yes. And so like I'm excited because I think a lot of what I'm hearing is like
He's been a beast. That's what I've been
yeah,
hearing.
exactly. Like they're not trying to shy away from that, which is awesome. They're not like, oh, like hopefully it like they're giving us good things on it. So I'm excited to see how that goes because obviously like I've always thought like, oh, it's just one line position to another, but being a center at that point is completely different. You got to worry about different angles, different things. You got to snap the ball right, which we've seen be a problem in college football recently. And so I think it'll be exciting to see how that works out. But obviously the reports we're getting are awesome. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a good one. Because I think you're right. They were all really high on him, and then we just kind of have been quiet about it. I'm sure it's not because he's like completely just taken the reverse, but like it just kind of put it out there on the map, and they were really, really high on him. And by all accounts, seems like a really smart guy at that center position. That's the biggest thing you're hoping for. Like that position is so vitally important that if your guy is not fully aware of the offense and doesn't have that high IQ, it's just football IQ, like you're going to run into situations where your guard tackles are going to be asking for directions and that center's going to have no idea. So good pull on that one. I think that's definitely a guy that, well, no, never mind. It's tough because he plays at the center. We'll be talking about him more when the coaches tell us, hey, go look at this guy in particular next game because of how good he is.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be a guy who certainly steps up. Anybody on that defensive side of the ball, and we got some audio clips as well we'll get into, but real quick, defensive side of the ball, any faces, whether they're stars already, do you expect to take more strides next year?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of too many names. I know they got a couple good defensive line slash edges in the portal this offseason.
Yeah, Winari out of Missouri is the big one.
And so I'm excited to see how those guys pan out. They look like monsters, so that's exciting. Anytime that they can beef up this line here, it's going to be great. I think we saw that last year too. Obviously, the bigger guys are the ones getting the bigger plays. And so I think if they keep feeding into that, which a lot of teams have been, obviously, you'll run into your Abdul Carters who aren't amazingly overweight, which is awesome. But I'm excited to see how they beef up the line this year too. So I'm excited.
Yeah, the defensive line is going to be, just because, again, it's new gaps that the guys are going to have to fill in and replace. But then you listen to Matt Rule through some sidebar interviews when he's down there in Vegas, just talking about how good they're going to be and really putting it out there that he wasn't super worried about it, or at least his tone of voice was like, not that he's not worried about it, but he's like, what I'm seeing right now gives me hope that this is a position group that's going to be all right. And yes, you lose Tony White, but you brought in Braden from the Kansas City Chiefs, who was the assistant offensive line coach up there, coaching one of the best in Jones. He's like been there at Super Bowls. He knows what winning looks like. So I love that hire, taking over. And then, of course, Donovan Rail is still making sure that offensive line's good. Where was he? He was a holdover from Frost, right? So I think
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's been 4 years at the off, which is crazy. Yeah. How I've always said this about our offensive line. Like those guys have gotten so much heat, like year in, year out during the lows of Husker football. And I'm like, you guys understand that we're giving them like a brand new offensive line coach every year. Yeah. Like, we're not doing those guys any favors. Yeah. And to expect greatness out of what you've given, which is chaos, is a lot to ask for. So I really do think another one of the underrated moves of Matt Rule is when, he takes over Scott Frost's job, let go of just about everybody, but Donovan was not one of them.
Yeah.
Because I think he saw okay, this is an NFL guy. Is it really just a new offensive line coach every single time? Or is this just a room that's been absolutely brutalized in terms of not being able to have any consistency?
Yeah.
Because I think he saw there's some good talent in here. We're just not giving any of those guys.
Utilizing it really,
exactly. Because again, it's going to come down to scheme, nutrition, all that stuff. And if you're just constantly getting new coaches in there, it's going to be tough. Real quick, let's go ahead and get to Matt Rule on some of those quotes. Did you remember last year where the coaches were staying in the dorms?
I did not, but I heard about that today for the first time. So I didn't know it happened previously like that.
Okay. When it comes to you, like camaraderie, obviously with baseball, it's a little bit different. Did you guys do anything like for team building? What did that look like over at Wesleyan?
So we usually take a spring break trip every spring break, obviously, and we leave the state. And so this past season we went to Florida, and usually we'll get a hotel room. Everyone gets sent to their rooms, but this year we got like condos and Airbnbs. And so they had like arcades in there, everything like Dance Dance Revolution. And so it was cool to like, obviously we had games the next morning pretty early, but the coaches would be down there with all of us till like 11. And then at that point they'd get mad at us, tell us to go to bed. But like I'd be playing Guitar Hero with Coach Christie. So like, it's like little things like that, like living in the dorm rooms with them where it's like, sure, at the time it's like, what are you doing here? But then as you start seeing a different side of them, it definitely helps the bond for sure. It's like, I don't see you as just a coach. I see you as a person too. So I think that's what he's getting at. I heard him talk about it today, how like at some point they're in a group chat and the kids have to tell him like, all right, like leave it real quick. But it's like, then that bond kicks off with the team too. So I love it. I think it works. I think obviously you have to have the talent there too, which I don't think is a huge issue for Nebraska. But I think like seeing a coach wanting to do those little things, it's always awesome. Like off topic a little bit, Coach Popovich, I think they always had like weird little things they were doing with the Spurs, but it obviously always worked. So I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, I like it too because, I mean, you'll learn a lot. I think every parent's told their kid this once, it's like, don't live with your best friends because you might end up hating them or something along the lines. Like living with someone is very, very different from just hanging out with them for a few hours every day. Also helps a lot more for the respect. And this isn't the dorms where we're going to have 5-star fancy dorms. I think last year they were at Able.
Okay.
And maybe didn't even have, they might have been on one where the ACs were like the window ACs and everything. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I remember seeing the videos. I'm like, it doesn't look like there's centralized AC in there. It looks like an older. So it's not like Matt Rule is this team bonding things that, whatever you think of like the Love Island set. It's not all beautiful and nice and pretty. I mean,
you're actually there to bond.
Yes. Basic dorms, basic, you got the bunk beds in there. And I think it's really cool that the coaches are in there as well. So here's Matt Rule, his thoughts on why deciding that the coaches should stay in the dorms as well during fall camp with the players.
Yeah, they voted for a group like a for lack of a better word, leadership council type ownership group, and those guys said it. So, just that group. So there's maybe one or two guys from each position. There's maybe 10 or 12 guys, and I asked them what they wanted to do, and they said they've been very emphatic with me. Like they have a group chat, and Corey's in the group chat, and then I put myself in the group chat over vacation. And to be honest, they were like, "Hey, coach, get out of the group chat. Like, go and they were like, go on vacation. Like, to go be with your family. Like, we got this." And I was like, "Well, I do need to send you guys some stuff every once in a while because I like to send. I read a lot. I'll send them something to think about." But to their point, I want that. Like, I want them. This is like the best summer I've had. Like no drama, no issues, no problems. They're not calling me like so and so did this, so and so did that. Like everyone, they handled their business. So, but it's that group that said it. And I never made the coaches over 50. Stay in the dorm, and now that I'm 50, I was like, I have a little apartment downtown. So me, my son and Wish, we're all staying there. But yeah, that was it. I can't end on a dorm question. I mean, sorry. I don't know. Anybody else? It's a great question. I just meant like end on a football high note.
All right, so there you have it. Kind of thought it was funny there too, Matt Rule. I don't know what that is. It's like can't end on a dorm question at the end there. I wasn't on a football question, but yeah, there you have it. Also put this out there. Has the rules, but like, if you're over 50, it's not going to make you stay there, do what you will. But really wants those younger guys, expects them to go out there and enjoy it. What is? I know it's different because you play baseball. What does good team chemistry look like for you, and what's it look like when you don't have that team chemistry, or maybe it doesn't look like things are bad, out of sync, but maybe just some other elements you've noticed from good team chemistry is just not there?
Yeah, no. So I just finished up my 4th year. I have another year, but the year before that, we definitely didn't have team chemistry. And it's not like how the movies or how like TV shows make it seem where everyone hates each other. It's just like a disinterest for being around each other, which is weird.
Just quiet?
Yeah.
Is the best way I
Like
could
the bus
explain it?
rides were quiet. Practices, it was like we had another bad practice. It's like, let's just go home. Like no one cared. We all cared about playing better and cared about each other at the end of the day, no matter what. But it was always something that just got in the way of like, we're something away from being good. And I think team chemistry is a huge part of that. And so to jump to what we just had, one of our better seasons this last year, I think that was a huge part of it. Like the bus rides, we were hardly quiet. If we lost, obviously it was different, but we always had something to do. We were always hanging out somewhere. And obviously we're putting the work in no matter what. But like I remember clearly one of our final practices of the year, we had like it was raining pretty bad. We probably should have got sent home, but we were out there like making pop fly catches off the top of our gloves, like just messing around to the point where it's like it doesn't feel like we're working out. It doesn't feel like we're at work. It's like we're just having fun. And I think that definitely translates to the way you play for most sports, I'm sure. And so I think it's definitely something that's undervalued, but it's something that I overly appreciate after going through that for sure. So I think it can help a lot.
Yeah, and then it's you did some other exercises. What are some things that, and like obviously you don't have to say names, things that like players or coaches do that help or hurt team chemistry?
We did so in the fall, obviously we can't really after fall ball ends, we can't really have like team practices or anything. So for baseball side of things, we would obviously like put together our own little let's go hit, let's go do this. And like at first it was 12 of us and then 20 of us. And then by the time you knew it, all the infielders were there. So it was cool. But then outside of that, they would plan like our coaches would plan for us to do little like challenges throughout the winter. So there was 4 teams and it was like lifting stuff and then it was swimming stuff. Then we had pickleball going. So it was like a bunch of things like that. Obviously you get the competitive side of it, but then it's like I'm building bonds with guys I probably want to hang out with if they're like not infielders. So I had POs in my group, obviously pitchers. And so it was something cool that like you get to meet a lot deeper connections with your teammates because there's guys I'm not going to talk to every day just with how our schedules look on the team. And so that obviously opens new doors. And it was cool to just kind of get to see these guys on a different level. Seeing guys take pickleball serious is always the funniest thing in the world. So I think it's super cool to do things like that. I think that's what helped us a lot, not just pickleball, but doing little competitions and finding time outside of baseball to be friends was cool. So
Yeah, I mean, all that just put out there, like my belief of it's pretty simple. Like if you're the head coach and you want team chemistry, force them to be together.
Yeah.
And if you can't force them, encourage them to
Yes.
do stuff together. And normally what the result of that is, unless you just, sometimes you really do. I've watched, you ever watched Last Chance U?
Yes, I used to.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't always go well when you try to force like everyone to get along. So like, don't get me wrong. It's not always the cure all, but most of the time, especially if you have guys that are just generally good dudes, if you want to help them build that team chemistry, that's why I think what Matt Rule's doing, genius. Like it's not super complicated. Just send them to the dorms.
Yeah.
And during the camp.
I think the way he was wording it about that group chat he brought up, it kind of sounds like the players are taking it into their hands now of like you're good, go enjoy your summer. Like everything you want us to do, we're going to do it on our own. So I like the way that he worded that for sure.
That's perfect. And since you said that, we'll turn off the mics, pull or go ahead and pull up the banner. But we're going to play this quote from Matt Rule again, having a player-led team. And it's about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So we're going to play the entire thing. I'm going to shut off the mics. And then after that, we'll throw it to break. We'll come back and we'll talk about Matt Rule's comments on what we're talking about here. Just team chemistry, how he's been able to seem like take more of the summer off in terms of having to actively coach the guys around. I'm sure he's out there on the recruiting trail and everything else. But long speech right here, about 3 minutes. Matt Rule on his team being player-led.
Yeah. So when they say player-led, I think it's not like they're saying like, hey, I think we should practice there or not. Like I think it's really important to say that. It's what player-led means is like, hey, we have a process that we follow. It's not the schedule. Just process for us means like, hey, we're going to attack everything that we can control and hope that helps us have good win outcomes. And then there's standards in the program. Like, hey, I expect you to do this. I expect you to do this. And what happens to all of us is like, we do the standard until we're tired of doing it or it's hard or something we don't think, well, why am I doing this? And what we want is we want players who enforce the standards. They're like, no, this is what we do. And in today's world, players love to lead through performance. They like to diffuse leadership. Like, hey, we all kind of come together. And there's not a lot of like, hey, I'm going to come up to you and say this. And so in year 3, what you hope is that they're like, hey, I want to win. I'm tired of losing. It's not all this other stuff. It's all of us doing the right thing every day. And so it's who's going to be willing to tell someone that they care about or another great player, hey, stop doing that. That's not what we do. Let's do this. Or, hey, I need you to do this. And so when they're willing to have hard conversations with each other, when they're willing to hold each other accountable, that's player leadership. And not when things are easy, but when things are hard. You know, I gave the example to them. I don't mind saying it to you guys. Like, it was 13-6 last year against Ohio State. We were losing at halftime, and it was like a revival in our locker room. They were so excited. They were like, freaking, you know, Johnny just made that kick, and they're like, we're going to come back and win this game. And we almost did. And then the next week it was 13-7 against UCLA, and we run off the field. And people are booing, which we get, right? And we're in the locker room, and it was like literally like, I mean, I was up there like, I was praying, not really praying, but I was like trying to like, come on, guys. And it was just sad. Gosh, what's happening to us? And nothing happens to you in football. Like, you take control of it and you run with it, right? So it's like, but I think looking back, they're like, well, why were they different? Well, because we're listening to everything else instead of just what's our standard. No matter what the score is, we keep playing, we find a way. And you know what's crazy about that game? It was then 20-7, and it was then 27-7, and then we came back. We had a ball with 2 minutes. You know, Heinrich came out there, and we had a chance to go tie the game to win it. So it's like, but you have to sometimes go through those things to learn, like, just keep playing. And that's, you know, I can say that till I'm blue in the face. Players don't listen to coaches. They listen to each other. Okay. And at the end of the day, like, they listen to each other. You know, they hear me 20 minutes a day. They hear you guys a lot on social media. They listen to fans on social media, and they hear each other. So it's like, man, you guys have got to do a great job of saying, like, hey guys, keep playing, keep playing, keep playing. So I like where we're at in that regard. Let me say that. I like where we're at. I mean, you know, they're doing it. Just, can we do it? Continue to do it at a higher and higher and higher level.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Make bill paying a breeze with Text to Pay. LES texts you 1 week before your bill's due date. Just reply to the text to pay. It's that easy. Log into your account at les.com to sign up today.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop, Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
MHC isn't new, just a new name. Mo's Moving is now Mo's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can also handle your commercial moves as well. There's never fees on trucks, stairs, elevators, long carry, and last-minute booking, and no trip or fuel charges. Also, no upcharge on weekends, and they do offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Here's the stars of the ones and twos. We got Rudy. Rudy, how do you say your last name? I don't even ask you.
Yeah, Rudy Gres.
Gres.
Yep.
Rudy Gres the fourth.
Yep.
Coming in there as well. So I'll make sure I get the pronounce right. We got Rudy Gres, and then obviously Tristan Gomez joined me on the last hour. You'll be hearing these guys' voices more and more, especially every now and then for Ticket Weeknights, helping me fill the void through the month of July. But before you know it, we'll be back into the fall sports season, and we will have plenty of shows and things to talk about through the entire courses of nights sometimes. But with that being said, we heard a lot on Matt Rule talking about team leadership and how this is being more of a player-led team. We played that quote at the end there. It was about 3 minutes. Who are the leaders to you on this team going to be? And give me, it can be players, coaches, whether it's assistant, or even, trainers. And you can give me multiple. It doesn't have to be just one guy, one coach, or one trainer.
Yeah, I feel like the obvious answer that I probably go with to start off is Dylan Raiola for sure. I think even though he is coming into his second year of college football, he's definitely matured a lot off the field and on the field for sure. His playmaking abilities got better as the season went on. But I think him for starters, I think just in general, it's got to start with your quarterback. And so I feel like the way he was answering questions at Big Ten Media Day, the way he's like composing himself on social media, I think he's kind of accepting that leadership role now. I'm sure he's still got some growing to do, but I think he's one that's up there. I'm excited to see what Emmett Johnson does for that running back core. I hope he kind of steps up into a leadership role like that. He has the talent to be a leader as well. Coaches, Matt Rule, obviously, but yeah, I'm excited to see what some of the Mike Eckler leadership does on that special teams team.
That was the coordinator. Between him and Dana, I'm super curious. Like Dana Holgerson's obviously, he scares me. Me and Tristan talked about this. Like, scares me as the first coach to go. Like, not because he's getting fired, but because the head coach, and knowing Matt Rule's always been the guy to really encourage people to leave. Like, if he thinks they got a great opportunity, he's not gonna try to convince them to stay for his own personal gain. So if Dana Holgerson has an opportunity to head coach, like Matt Rule being the good guy he is, like if he genuinely thinks that's a good thing for Holgerson, like he'd probably push him to do it, or at the very least not try to sway him to stay at Nebraska. So I think Mike Eckler has a better chance of staying for a while. And if he can bring any part of that mindset to what has been the worst phase of our program for the past, fair to say, like past 20 years. Because Bo Pelini was a little bit of, well, what was Bo Pelini's last year? Was that 09 or 11, 09?
I was going to say, I think maybe close to 12, but probably
12?
11 then. Yeah. Somewhere in that area for sure, I think.
Either way.
Yeah, 9 through 12.
You could say about 20 years of just
Yeah.
awful special teams. If you can fix that culture at all, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And then for players, Dylan Raiola, Emma Johnson, certainly. Quentin Ives will be curious at that running back 2 spot. Defense, I don't know who the leaders are going to be. That's the one, because you don't have Tony White anymore. So even at the coaching spot, no. I've said it before, Terry Braden, who I think he's stepping into a lot. That, a lot of players left. You're filling in some new pieces. I think he has the experience, but I think maybe just asking a lot to be a super strong leader right off the bat. Anybody on defense to you that sticks out that can be a leader? I guess the easy ones for me and Tristan talked about it. Give me Singleton, and even guys like Buford. Hard to like kind of just give me that DB room, and I like a lot of those guys.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think those are the ones that kind of stand out the most when you just think of the Husker defense right now. So I think if they know that as well, I'm sure. So I feel like that's probably going to be a lot of where the leadership does come from, because outside of that, you're getting, like you said, a lot of new guys in key roles that have to grow into that too. So that's really all I'd be at right now, maybe. And then I'm sure by like week 2, you'll see someone emerge as that. But for now, that's where I'm at too.
Marquise Watson Trent, maybe.
Yeah.
Linebacker area.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Especially here in Nebraska. That's going to be a huge position. But.
Yeah. Wanari, transfer portal. There's defense has got some opportunities for some real faces step up. Shout out unknown texter 8097. I think your people or at least your section where you grew up, maybe friends, family, neighborhood, says, "What's up, Harrison? Texas, love your Texas guy, right?"
Nice.
Yeah, it might be. And he says, "Let's go, Rue." Was Rue your nickname growing up?
Yeah, sometimes.
Is that a family or friends or everyone?
More family, yeah.
Okay. Well, shout out to whoever's out there. If you guys want to text in, we can always add you to the context here. But unknown texter 8097, all the way out from Texas. Because again, Rui is a Rudy. Not. I'm starting to call you
no, you're good.
By the nickname there. Rudy, what are you, Packers?
Yeah,
Texas
Packers,
Longhorns,
Spurs fan,
and Deion Sanders fan.
Deion
right?
Sanders fan, yes, yep. And then Blue Jays in there too.
Okay, Blue Jays are fine, but I don't think I'm NHL.
Not really. I barely started getting into hockey this year. I really like the Vegas Knights. I really like their colors, so that's kind of what I'm drawn to right now. But yeah, hockey's super fun. I just don't have a team yet, so
fair enough. And then Texas, the Cowboys, right? NFL.
No, Packers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I just said Packers.
No, you're good.
Can I ask you, like, how quickly that came about? Because that's one thing to, like, I'm not a Cowboys fan, but it's not like I have like a whole lot of vitriol towards them. But the Packers, how do you go from like Texas to Green Bay, Wisconsin?
Yeah, I think it's one of the funniest stories when people ask me. So growing up, I was a huge WWE fan. And so, like, I remember clearly watching, like, that whole Super Bowl run the Packers went on and seeing, like, A.J. Hawk and Aaron Rodgers wear that WWE championship around their belts after they won. I was like, that's super cool. And then I just kept following them. And then as I understood what football was more and more, I was like, yeah, I really like these guys. So, yeah.
Is Rodgers wearing the WWE belt?
Yep. That's my way of getting into football, really. I mean, I grew up, I wasn't a Cowboys fan. I liked a lot of their players. I just, for some reason, I could never root for Tony Romo. So that always stopped me from being a Cowboys fan. I liked a lot of their defensive guys, but yeah, that was
I almost love that answer. Like, you just did it because you couldn't root for
I could not.
Tony Romo. So, like, let me go be a Wisconsin fan because Rodgers wore WWE.
Exactly.
You know, I will say it. I even though I'm like just always hated the Packers growing up, how fun was it watching the Cutler versus Rodgers era?
Oh yeah,
they were cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
Those guys are both kind of. I'm not going to say they're bad people or great people. They're cut from different. Like, they're just
they're doing their own things on it. Yeah, that was fun. I think Jay Cutler gets a lot more appreciation now that he's kind of obviously out of the league. But like looking back on it now, that was fun football for sure. So
it was just ridiculous. Like, we all know, and I'm not going to say all the stories because a lot of them are legit around Aaron Rodgers. And then you do have the Jay Cutler stories where he's not even lying it. Like, he's just like, after games I'd rip heaters in the shower, just smoking cigarettes. The coaches wouldn't like it, but whatever. And then they're very similar in terms of they're going to do it their way.
Yep.
And if you don't like it, they don't really care. So to have those two guys going at it, That was probably the best the Packers-Bears rivalry's ever been. It's kind of just been pretty one-sided.
Yeah.
Pretty similar to what the Hawkeyes and, unfortunately, Cornhuskers rivalries have been. Not where I wanted to go, but we only got a few minutes left.
Yep.
Since you're a Texas guy, you're a Packers fans, give me the best rivalries in all of sports. U.S. sports. I'm not going to quiz you about, Premier League soccer matches.
Yeah, no, being biased real quick, I would definitely say Texas-Oklahoma's up there for college football. I'd say Texas A&M, since they hadn't played it for like close to 11 years. That when that came back last year, I was locked in on that TV.
Which is just ridiculous that they let rivalries like that fade away.
Yeah, I think that's the worst. Whenever like obviously the conferences, they're going to realign almost every other year, it seems, so you're going to lose guys. But I think there's some games you just got to keep keeping them around. Like Nebraska, Colorado, I think that's a game everybody wants to see every year.
Kansas State, Missouri back in the day.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that are Missouri or Kansas State fans, and they are pissed.
Yeah.
That game, that's just been dead, and no one's. I can't remember the last time it was, but anyways, any other big ones?
Yeah, I mean, obviously one of the obvious ones, like the Red Sox, Yankees. I feel like that one's declining a little bit. Like, I think you're not seeing as many fights or like cool things like Pedro Martinez throwing down the coaches or nothing. But
Right.
I think that's one up there. And then
Steelers, Ravens.
Yeah, I
That's
put
a great
Steelers, Ravens up
NFL.
there for sure.
Uh-huh.
And then I got to do it. Cowboys, Eagles. I think that's always a fun game to watch. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch more I'm forgetting, but those are the ones that kind of just stand out to me too. So
Nebraska, Oklahoma, do anything for you?
I think when I got here, I kind of didn't like know the history of it. But then when Oklahoma came to town, I was at that game and I was like, these people like this is huge. This is a huge deal. And so I think it's something that if more people got a chance to see it more often, then absolutely. But yeah, I think it's up there for sure.
That one just bums me out because a lot of these are up there, but you just haven't played them in so
Yeah,
long.
exactly.
There's enough people my age that just couldn't give two, darns about whatever Oklahoma football does because they only probably remember playing them a couple times in their life. Because I remember it was a big deal. They were redoing, or it was like the anniversary of like the game of the century or something along the lines of that. I think that was when Nebraska was on the road and had to play Oklahoma, and it was a really close game. Adrian was the quarterback, I believe.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And they, there's a pretty close game.
Yeah.
And I think that was the one where we had, of course, a blocked PAT attempts where they ran all the way back for 2 points, which it just happened to me a couple of times in the most recent years that we struggle to have that. But anyways, like it's just sad because you see games like that, and then I talk to my parents and even some of my older brothers, and then I talk to kids in our generation. They're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just the luster's
Getting
gone.
faded there. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Any other big ones out there? I'm trying to think. Lakers, Clippers, does that do anything? Or the Clippers just not?
I was gonna say I think the Clippers kind of killed that for themselves recently,
Yeah.
but like
Boston,
Boston,
Celtics,
LA,
Lakers.
yeah, that one. I think like seeing Kobe and them just duel it out growing up, that was
Yeah.
always awesome to see. I think it was a short-lived one, but the Spurs and the Heat, that was a nice little rivalry they had going back and
That
forth.
was fun. That was really fun.
The one that I think kind of gets slept on, especially now that it's not going to be happening, is the Oklahoma State one. Like I think the last one, obviously Oklahoma blew that game, and that was awesome to see.
Right.
But I think that's one that like those in-state rivalries, no matter who they kind of are, is always going to be fun. But then there's also times where it's like they're just not going to be able to do like Texas and Texas Tech. Like I'm supposed to be like, oh yeah, that's a huge game. They're Texas Tech's not doing anything. So I think there's just some in-state rivalries that deserve the
Iowa
hype.
State is pretty good. Because
Yeah.
Iowa State's good enough to take them
compete
down
for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like those are good. Then there's just some where it's like, yeah, it's a rivalry just because it kind of has to be. But that's where I'm at on those. I think Michigan and Ohio State's probably one of the top of all times. So I think that's up there.
Alabama, Auburn's are the
Oh
other
yeah,
great
those games
one.
are insane.
And they always have crazy like,
that
finishes.
Isaiah Bond catch 2 years ago was crazy.
Okay, we got to throw the break here. We can maybe continue this conversation on the other side. So don't go anywhere. We'll talk some more college football. Maybe even switch over to some NBA. So don't go anywhere yet. We got Arens Rudy as well, Rudy Gres as well. We'll talk to you guys on the other side.
Stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Make bill paying a breeze with Text to Pay. LES texts you 1 week before your bill's due date. Just reply to the text to pay. It's that easy. Log into your account at les.com to sign up today.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
MHC isn't new, just a new name. Mo's Moving is now Mo's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can also handle your commercial moves as well. There's never fees on trucks, stairs, elevators, long carry, and last-minute booking, and no trip or fuel charges. Also no upcharge on weekends, and they do offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
right, welcome back in. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got Rudy Gres to my left and 402-464-5685. If you guys want to join in, that is the Starter Heyman text line. We only got about 4 or 5 minutes left here. And again, you can put any, you can comment on any of the streams as well. Facebook, YouTube, X, Al Channel 961. Wrapping things up here, I think we'll just wrap up with some more Husker football as we've been talking a lot about it. We talked best rivalries as well. So what is the tougher rivalries for Nebraska football? Iowa or Colorado? And you got to pick one.
I'd probably go Iowa just because I think it's one of those rivalries that, like, not that the talent doesn't matter, but it's definitely one of those that, like, anything can happen type of thing. Like, I think last year, as much as I am a Colorado fan at times, like, Nebraska just manhandled them to start that game. And so I think, like, if I were to project it, I think you'd probably take Nebraska more times than Colorado. But in Iowa, it's like anything can happen. Like last year, they were playing both great games, and then it comes down to like one key possession, one key sack, and it's like, okay, like they lost again. But it's like, I think Nebraska, it's one of those rivalries where, like, you just have to try to get over that hump in a way. Like, not that they play scared by any means, but it's one of those that, like, you know what it means to you. And I feel like sometimes that gets to the best of them. So I think that's why I'd say that one's a little tougher for them.
Yeah, it is. It's a bizarre one. It's almost, it's like a little bit like the Auburn, Alabama, where it feels like those games, no matter what it is on paper, they find a way to be neck and neck at the end. It was last year, right? Alabama, they had to have a Hail Mary to win it. I think it was 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years ago, yeah. But still, it was like 4th and 31 or something, and then like Jalen Milroe straight to the back of the end zone.
Yeah,
but still,
right.
like,
It was Milroe.
Yeah, but like you shouldn't even be in that position in the first place. Like
no.
you would think, but that's the thing with those games. That's what I love about them too. They can go either way. Same with last year, Ohio State, Michigan. Like, I didn't have Michigan winning that game by any
I don't think
means.
anybody did.
Exactly, and then they go out there, rivalry games, anything can happen. So I think it's one of those things for Nebraska, Iowa, where it can flip as easy as it can flip. It's Nebraska and Colorado. You kind of not expect it, but obviously they're 1-1 in the last 2 years. But I still think Nebraska has a tougher hurdle in Iowa. So.
Yeah, it just seems like, especially for us growing up, again, you don't get Colorado every year. Like, everybody my age just feels like we've been playing Iowa forever, and unfortunately we've been losing a lot more than we're winning. We did get that one win not too long ago. I think it was 2022.
Yes.
But nonetheless, all of them have ended pretty much the exact same way, where it's a special teams error and then walk-off field goal. It's probably been a walk-off field goal, and again, this is me guessing, but if I had to take a swing at it, 7 of the last 10s.
Yeah, I wouldn't
out of Iowa, maybe even 9 out of the last.
Yeah,
10.
I would not doubt that for a second. That's especially with the type of special teams they have. That's easy to believe, but yeah, it's definitely one of those games for Nebraska. Well, 90% of the time,
their quarterbacks are doing like their kicker that gets a commercial like every year just by knocking that. I can't remember which one who had the most recent commercial, but it's a big deal. You know, you beat Nebraska, you don't really do anything else after that game, so they kind of have to win it because, you know, being tongue-in-cheek here, what's Iowa's biggest win after beating Nebraska?
Yeah.
A bowl game. They've had some good bowl games, but for the most part, been pretty bad.
Can't think of what year it was, but then I remember they made it to like the Big Ten championship, and then they just got steamrolled by Michigan. So it would have been like 2 years ago, but
yeah,
that's
about the best. It's like the Big Ten championship games, especially when it was East and West. Like, you know, Nebraska wasn't doing a whole lot to ever challenge, and nobody else really was. It was Wisconsin or Iowa, and it kind of once in a blue moon Northwestern would somehow sneak up there, but it was pretty much those 3 squads. All right, basketball world, Creighton or Iowa, bigger rival for Nebraska?
I would say Creighton. I think because you run into a lot of J-skers here, and so I think that's where that divide happens. Like, I have friends who are huge Husker football fans, but they're going to ride with Creighton until they die for basketball. So I think that's kind of where it gets a little more personal than the Iowa one, just in my opinion. Obviously, they both have their weight, but I think the Nebraska Creighton one, like, I'm more tuned into that game whenever they end up playing. So that's where I'm at on that.
Yeah, it'd be. I wish I disagreed. Just to take the other point, I agree with you a lot. Just because I do think there is something. It's almost like you know when people say like civil wars are the ugliest ones because it's your own neighbors, friends, and family, and like all of a sudden you just kind of start to see where everyone's aligned.
Yeah,
like that was me growing up in Hartington, Nebraska, northeast of Nebraska, so closer to Omaha and Lincoln. Like, seeing all these Creighton fans, and then they knowing that I'm a Nebraska basketball fan. When it's your own people that like you know and you're friends with talking crazy, not strangers from another state, like it hits a little bit different. So definitely that one. And again, you had mentioned it with the J-skers, like create some unique dividing lines there. But with that being said, that's going to do it for me and Rudy. We talked a lot of college football, Husker football, as well as Nebraska's biggest rivals, some of the best rivals throughout all of college sports. So with that being said, appreciate you guys listening. Don't go anywhere, though. More Ticket Weeknights coming your way up next.